Hello, welcome to Econometrics Melody. In this tutorial, we'll deal with different kind of variables and data in Stata. Let's begin with this main Stata interface. Active each time, press Ctrl 8 for activating data editor and Ctrl 9 for activating do file. Let us clear everything, set our observations to 27, so 27 data containers are ready, and let us see about the numerical variables. This is very simple. We create a numerical variable out of this. These are numbers, and let us see the use of tsset. So without activating this, if I run this command multiple number of times, we get different numbers, but if I activate this command tsset, and you can put any numbers in the tsset. Now if I run this multiple number of times, we get the same value. You see, I'm running it multiple number of times. So this is something like the seed of mango should produce seed every time, right? Wherever you saw it. Just generate a string variable. Anything that is written within the code, that is to produce a string variable. And let us use the for loop to populate the other remaining observations. So let us run this command and we get this. So what does this do? This will actually insert the numbers, and that is converted into a string in between the letters of this word. Now let us see the indicator variables. So indicator variables has the binary outcomes. We're going to create indicator variables in where based on the value of numeric, the variable numeric. If it's less than 300, it's going to be 0, and if it's greater than 300, it's going to be 1. So in where indicates the values less than 300 by one value and greater than 300 by other value. So let us label this and let us tabulate it. This is very simple, and let us create a histogram out of it. We see Mphil, this is represented in percentage. So 55.56% were fail and 44.44% were pass. So fail and pass is a binary outcome. Now let us see about the categorical variable, and we are going to use this cut function of egen command. We are going to create 4 groups out of this numerical variables, and Stata try to group it evenly. So let us see. So let us label them and see. Let us tabulate it, and let us create a histogram, and the y bar is in percentage. Now let us see about the factor variables. So factor variables are created out of the categorical variables. We have this in var, 2 categories, so binary outcomes. Let me close this graph, and this is like a virtual variable. If we execute this command, we don't see any change in the data editor, but we get to see the values. In our data editor, we don't have any additional values, but the factor variables, we have listed the factor variables. 0b, b is for base, and 1 is for label. The observations for pass, we have created this variable. This is an indicator variable. Mphil, it's a base value. So the factor variable creates the indicator variables based on the categories. So let us try another example. So let us sort categorical variable only, and let us run this. So categorical variable catvar, it has 4 categories. So this is the base level. For week, so week is the base here, and for moderate we have this indicator variable 1, and for fair we have this indicator variable, and for good we have this indicator variable. Now let us try some interactions between catvar and invar. Catvar has 4 categories and invar has 2 categories. Let us sort it, and let us run their interactions. To see its explanation, this is very simple. So in for indicator and cat for categories. Indicator, it has indicator variable has 2 categories, and categorical catvar has 4 categories. So their interactions, there are 8 interactions. So this is the base for both. We get these values: weak female, moderate female, fair female, good female, weak male, moderate male, fair male, and good male. So these are the indicator variables. Cross-sectional data is actually the data at one point of time. This numerical variable, if it represents the income, let's see it in our data editor, and if this numerical variable, it represents the income of this number of peoples, 27 peoples, at certain point of time, then this is the categorical data or categorical variables. Now time series variable, let us generate the time series variable or time series data. So let us generate a sequence from -5 onwards, and let us format this to be the time series variable, quarterly time series variable, and you see the changes. So these are the 27 quarters has been created. Now let us set the time series variable, and let us say to this data that time series, the variable name time series is the actual time series variable, and let us run these factor variables. Okay, L for lag. You see the result. This is again a factor variable. This is the time series we had set, and we listed it again. So you don't see any lag variables created here. These are the virtual variables or the factor variables. And the first lag, this L stands for first lag. So the first lag of this is this. The first lag of this observation is this, and the second lag is this. So 4 minus 1 is 3, 4 minus 2 is 2. So let us try to see whether this L, so lag, twice lag, is equal to L2. This is again twice lag. So let us see. And this would generate the same result. Let us try to draw some lines. This, and let us draw its periodogram. So this is very useful in spectral analysis, in the analysis of variance. Now let us say another data type, it's longitudinal data. So when you have the categorical variable or cross-sectional variable for n period of times, so n periods, that is as called as a longitudinal or panel data. So our catvar, so don't get offended with the kind of categories that I'm taking here. Actually the time also should repeat for each categories, but this is just for the sake of understanding or learning purpose. So I have set this to the longitudinal or panel data. So xt, this prefix is used, indicates the longitudinal or panel data in Stata. So this categories, this variable represents the categories or cross sections for this periods or for this time. So the combination of categorical variable or cross section and time series is called as panel data, and this should be very simple. So this is the graph. So for each categories we plot it. So this is a line plot for each categories and for this number, this period of times. Please take your time in understanding this. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much, Econometrics Melody.